647, Todd Jeffries and Don Pryor.
Hey.
Stay with us. We got the top 5 things you need to know about coming up at 7:05 this morning. The things you need to know before you get to the work truck, before you get to that cubicle. But right now, from the world of the weird, the unusual, and the sometimes offbeat.
Look out.
Did you hear about this giant pumice stone that's floating in the Pacific?
Yes.
It's about the size of 20,000 football fields, made of volcanic rock, and it could actually save the Great Barrier Reef. That's what some are saying in the cyberspace world. If you said a giant pumice raft, you were correct. The stone has been floating across the Pacific Ocean towards Australia to an area that has seen an 89% decrease in new coral following, mass bleaching. Scientists say this is a potential mechanism for restocking the Great Barrier Reef because the marine creatures like corals, crabs could, hitch a ride on the raft as it makes its way towards Australia.
Right.
How about that?
So it looks like a big island, a big gray island. It's just this pumice, and I guess it's considered rock, but it's obviously light enough to float. It's really amazing. I mean, from space, it really does look like just a big island.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's extraordinary.
Also, from the weird, the unusual, and offbeat, leaders from around the world gathering for the G7 summit. Sources say that they're nearing an agreement to fight the wildfires in the Amazon forest.
Thousands of miles of scorched forest, hundreds of burned trees, and giant plumes of smoke so large they can be seen from space. It's all part of these big fires. Today, Brazil's military was deployed to help fight the flames. Fires are common in Brazil during its dry season, but scientists say they're more widespread this year, up by 85% compared to this time last year.
There you go. Now they even got the military in there fighting those wildfires. Jump in here at 512-836-0590, toll-free 877-590-5525.
I mean, we feel that here in Austin, Texas, that smoke comes up from down there, and we get it from there. We get it from Mexico every year when they're doing, burning crops down there. That's kind of a yearly thing, and we feel it. We smell it here. It's bad news.
How about
for
this?
the whole world.
Listen, space crimes. Typically something you hear in the movies or on a television show, but we actually may have the very first space crime that's ever been committed. And it's only poetic that it's a case of stolen identity.
Yeah.
Space crimes might sound like something awesome for an HBO series, but for NASA, their investigation into one astronaut's alleged crime, this is no laughing matter. Decorated astronaut Anne McClain is being investigated for allegedly accessing her partner's bank accounts while aboard the International Space Station.
NASA astronaut Anna McClain is accused by her estranged ex-partner, Summer Warden, of stealing her identity and accessing her bank account without permission during a 6-month mission aboard the International Space Station. Warden, a former Air Force intelligence officer, says she got suspicious and contacted her bank, which found that her sign-in credentials had been used on a computer registered to NASA. McClain tells NASA's Office of Inspector General she was just checking the family's finances to make sure they had enough money to cover bills for their son while she was in orbit. McClain had accused her partner of making poor financial decisions in their contentious custody battle. Therese Crowley, Fox News.
Things are afoot there at the International Space Station, man. Got a little soap opera drama going.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it points out how routine spaceflight is becoming to the point now where everyday life that as we know it, is starting to work its way in.
Yeah.
Even though they do it while they're floating.
Yes.
I mean, checking the bank account, even though, it looks like maybe she was where she should not have been. But it speaks to a bigger picture here, how routine it's becoming.
There was no need for her to check into her ex-spouse's bank account.
Probably not.
Not at all.
Probably not.
This is being considered the first crime in in space. The
Well-
first crime, not in cyberspace, but in space.
So are we going to have some special branch of the law enforcement as we go through the years that's going to have to monitor this kind of stuff, not only right here on Earth, but from space? Again, the more routine it gets, the more time they spend up there, the more just everyday stuff will have to be taken care of. They can access their bank account. They email. They do whatever. But
That's not a problem.
I'm not saying it's a problem, but isn't it interesting now that because of technology,
yes,
crime can be done from space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
6:52, and did you hear about this one? This is out of Idaho.
Idaho?
Exactly, Idaho. This is a pretty interesting story that's going to anger a few people out there in the Idaho world. Fox 13 reports that an appeals court has ruled that Idaho must provide gender reassignment surgery to a convicted sex offender. Inmate Adria Inmo is now serving a 10-year sentence for sexually abusing a 15-year-old boy while he was 22. Idaho's Governor Brad Little vowed that his state will not provide the $30,000 procedure, saying we cannot divert critical public dollars away from higher priorities in keeping the public safe and rehabilitating of offenders. Now, Inmo, who was diagnosed with gender dysphoria, was born a male but identifies as a lady. Now, Inmo has tried to castrate herself twice while serving her prison sentence.
Oh, God.
And so there you go. The appeals court cited the Eighth Amendment in its decision to give Inmo this surgery, citing protection against cruel and unusual punishment.
Now, is this surgery necessary for this person's survival? Is this sex offender? First of all, I don't want to give them anything that they feel they need. I don't. I'm a little bit iffy on even food, providing food or air to this person. But I've never understood why taxpayers have to be have to foot the bill for sexual reassignment.
They don't. This is just one court. This is just one prison, case.
But we've heard about this before.
Yeah.
And
how is it cruel and unusual punishment not to provide the surgery?
Exactly. If unless it's
how about just we can't afford it?
Yeah. And this
you can take care of that when you get out of jail. How about that?
This isn't critical to someone's survival. Will they be confused and unhappy? Yeah, probably. I don't want you to be comfortable while you're in prison. And if you have some extra struggle because of your confusion,
I don't care if you want to have the surgery. That's up to you. But but in prison on everybody else's dollar, I don't think so.
I have nothing to do with it. I have nothing to do with your inner turmoil. And I'm not.
What if a couple of ladies in the women's prison wanted boob jobs?
Exactly. How far does this go?
It's not medically necessary.
No,
it's an elective procedure.
No,
she can wait.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And again,
wait till you serve your time, then you can, take care of your business.
But this is a convicted sex offender, and really, so
it's kind of silly to give him or her any kind of attention whatsoever.
Yeah, you don't have it from me.
Hey, listen, in a literal separation of church and state, the controversial church that has been renting space from the Austin School District is moving out. Yeah, for almost a year, protesters demonstrated outside the Austin School District Performing Arts Center when Celebration Church booked that space. They've been using it as their place to, meet on Sunday morning, saying they didn't think the district should do business with Celebration Church because the church's opposition to gay marriage and homosexuality. So they've been protesting like crazy out there. Well, protesters say the church stance contradicts the AISD's commitment to inclusivity. Yeah, the recent statements, leaders with Celebration Church say that they have grown enough that they can buy their own building, and that's what they're doing. They're moving over there on Koenig Lane. Yeah, on Sunday, protesters held a party at Bartholomew Municipal Pool in celebration of the church leaving. Well, you're celebrating a victory. They've grown so big, they need a bigger space.
Yeah, exactly.
In the past, AISD looked into whether they had the authority to deny renting to certain outside groups. They even had the Attorney General weigh in on the issue. And basically, the AISD policy is that all outside groups can rent facilities or none can.
Well, I understand why they want to separate themselves from this because it would appear a little bit hypocritical of them given their stance on certain issues. So I guess it'll be better for everybody.
5:56.
The Todd and Don Show.